Yesterday was Apple's highly anticipated Spring Forward event in San Francisco. And this year's centerpiece was the watch. They can do pretty much everything that your phone does, but it's smaller and it's faster, and you wear it. And if you wear a really nice one, then you are $10,000 in the red. Joining me now to discuss all things Apple is Engadget's John Coloki. John, thank you for joining us this morning. And what did we learn about this watch yesterday that we did not know before?
Yeah, so this is the first new product that Apple's rolled out since basically the Steve Jobs era. The iPad was actually the last product that the company rolled out, other than obviously updates every year to each of the products we know today. So this was. In addition to the watch, Apple also unveiled a new update to the MacBook and also some dates out to be, but we care about the watch, don't we?
Yeah, let's get to the good stuff.
Let's care about the watch. So CEO Tim Cook framed this as really kind of a coach on your wrist when it comes to the fitness aspect of it. The Watch Sport, the cheapest that you'll spend on it is $349, and it kind of has, the pricing of it is dependent on the size and band. And as you mentioned, there's an edition that's $10,000. There's actually one that's $17,000 that has 18-karat rose gold in it. What's interesting about the watch is that they claim that this thing, which is, again, you have to have an iPhone to connect to it. It's not something that just kind of lives on its own and kind of has its own connection to a cell tower. You need to have it Bluetooth synced to your iPhone. And if you have an Android device or a Windows phone, forget about it. You need to have an iPhone to actually be able to use this device. Apple claims that it has about 18 hours of battery life. And again, you can use it from everything to controlling music on your phone to actually talking on it. So it does have a microphone built in, and you can actually use it to talk through it, which is kind of a Dick Tracy appearance. And it's something that Tim Cook had said he wanted to do since he was a child, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so they claim that it's about 18 hours of battery life, which is all day, even though there's several hours missing in that all day component. But generally that'll vary depending on how much you actually use it.
Yeah, of course. Interesting how, the more we see new technology, the more we see little throwbacks to things that we would have liked to have seen in the past. But what is the deal with this pricing too? Because there is a lesser model that is $350. That certainly seems a little more reasonable. There's also a $600 model. And then, as you said, there's a $10,000, there's a $17,000 model. What is the main difference aside from maybe the rose gold?
It's really all about the bands that you choose for it. So the bands are obviously swappable like any watch out there. And if the sport one is just a very basic plastic wristband. It's decent looking. But also it's kind of, Apple is always known for being a little more expensive. I mean, if you look at a basic MacBook laptop costs, the lowest I think is like $800, which is for a very basic model, where you can go get a Windows laptop for probably $150. So Apple's known for pricing things a little bit higher. The same thing for an iPhone. I mean, you can go get a million other things. And there's a lot of different wearables and lots of different watches that have come out over the past couple of years that are actually a lot cheaper. A Pebble, which is one of the more popular known other brands, is only about $99. So it all kind of depends on the hardware, but really the true variance in price is really based on the wristband, and also what kind of, if you get gold, kind of a gold face on the watch, or if you just get kind of a basic silver one. So it really just depends on your taste and style. I personally don't want to spend much money on a watch, but yeah, that's kind of might explain why there's so much variance in pricing.
Well, yeah, overall, how do you think this is going to do? Apple certainly isn't the first company to get into wearable tech, and specifically not the first company to start with watches. And it seems like they're kind of slow on the pickup.
You're absolutely right. I mean, wearables and watches have been around for a couple of years now, and we just Engadget just covered a huge event in Barcelona called Mobile World Congress, where a lot of watches were unveiled, and there's one which I just retweeted on Engadget called the LG Urbane or LG Watch Urbane, and it's roughly the same price, a little bit cheaper, but it looks like a legitimate watch. It actually really, it isn't that square thing that Apple's doing. It's actually a true watch. And what's more is that a lot of the other wearables out there that are mainly Android-based have built-in LTE. So the idea, meaning that you don't need to have your phone connected to use it. You can go run around without your phone. And funny enough, one of the things Apple's kind of selling the watch on is that you can connect it to, you can put your Nike connection to it. But you still need to, if you're a runner, you're going to have this watch, and you still need to have the phone in your pocket and then headphones on and listen to music. So you're not really sans gadget. But there's a lot of people that want this, but there's a lot of people that don't. We did a quick poll on our site. About 33,000 of our readers voted, and 69% of them said that they would not be buying a watch, but 31% said they would. So just knowing Apple and knowing the kind of cult following that the company has, and the fact that the iPhone is still one of the best-selling, probably one of the best-selling products of all time for them, there's a lot of people that are going to be buying it just for the lust. But yeah, it's really not the best watch out there. There's a lot better people could choose from if they're in the market for it.